Welcome to the third episode of Speaking Serie B. My name is Elia. I'm one of the hosts, and together with me is 𝐏𝐫𝐞-𝐑𝐨𝐮𝐧𝐝. We both live in the US, although I'm not in the US currently. And while we support different Italian teams, we are united by our passion for the game. Jake, thank you for being here tonight as well. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, good evening, Elia, for you back in Italy. It's great to be back in the flow of things for Serie B. Unfortunately, both our teams didn't quite get the result that we needed, but still good to get this championship back underway. So I'm really, really happy about that. And yeah, here we go.
All right. So, would you like to start by dissecting the games, a little bit of our own teams, Cittadella and Spezia, or would you like to go through the predictions that we made and see how we did, and we just share our thoughts of game by game as we go?
Yeah, I think we could start, both of our teams, Cittadella and Spezia, of what they
Okay.
did last weekend, because it was the first match day of the season. So, yeah, Cittadella losing to Salernitana 2-1 at the Stadio Orecchi on Saturday. It was, well, from my point of view, I couldn't really watch the first half because I was still trying to figure out where I could watch it here. But I did manage
Ah,
to.
right. We had that issue. Right.
Yes, but I didn't manage to get the second half of the game, and yeah, unfortunately, Cittadella falls apart in the second half, um, in the stoppage time, conceding two late goals in that one at the 93rd minute and one in the 97th minute to lose the
Unbelievable.
game. They were winning for majority of the game. I want to say like 90% of the game. Simone Rabi getting his first goal in the 8th minute, and then deep into stoppage time, they just seem to kind of crumble. And I would say that maybe it was deserved for Salernitana to get those 3 points because in the second half they were clearly the dominant team. Having
Mhm.
said that, for Cittadella, I don't. It's still you can't lose a game after winning, going into stoppage time like that. It's just not
Right.
possible. But I mean, but the stats kind of tell you all that it's Cittadella really lacking anything in the second half, and I believe they only had one shot in the entirety of that second half and zero on target. So
Right.
um,
Yeah, 7
apparently,
shots total and 3 on target. Right.
yes, but the second half was really the story because I think Salernitana really dominated. Now, I can't really say much about the first half because I didn't watch it, but I'm hearing that
Okay.
they played well in the first 20 minutes or so and then kind of just stepped off the gas. So, um, you know,
Got it.
it's a tough game to really take, but at the end of the day, it's only match day one, so there's still a lot of season to be played, a lot of football
Oh,
left
yeah, of course.
determined. But getting off to the start is not a is not the best.
It's not an ideal start. And Salernitana proves again, as they did with Spezia in the Coppa Italia game, that they just don't give up. So that's a good thing to prove to their supporters, being a newly relegated team from Serie A, and oftentimes relegated teams suffer mentally the relegation. They come down from the major league to the second league. So at least Salernitana supporters must be pleased of the performance of their players who are not giving up regardless of the results. So that's for sure some encouraging proof.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
talked about. Go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was. You kind of just said it right there. But I think even a draw would have been a good result for Cittadella in this game. I think going on the road, first game of the season in a really it's in Italy, in Italian, you guys say like a hot stadium or like a tifoseria caldi, like a tense
Yes, indeed,
atmosphere.
indeed,
The Orecchie is not an easy place to play, so it would have been a
absolutely.
good
Yeah,
draw, but we can't do anything now, and all eyes on Brescia this weekend.
indeed, and we'll talk about it shortly. So briefly sharing my thoughts about the game that has been here, Pisa Spezia. We knew going into it that it wouldn't have been an easy game for us either. But Spezia, surprisingly, I must say, at the 21st minute, found goal that gave us the lead with Francesco Pio Esposito. Now, it started just like it ended last season, because Francesco Pio Esposito scored the goal in Alberto Pico against Venezia that allowed us to avoid relegation last season, at the very last game of the season. So that was a good sign. Although the Arena Garibaldi doesn't offer the best view for the supporters coming from abroad. So we didn't realize until the beginning of the second half that was Francesco Pio Esposito who scored. We thought it was Salvatore. But anyhow, it has something of poetry, the fact that the first goal of the season was scored by the guy who scored the last game of the season. So we're happy he's back, and this year he should do even better than last season. Then right at the end of at the 45 plus 2, basically, as I read here, Nicolò Bertola, who's a Spezzino, basically, because he comes out from the youth team, found a header that gave us the double lead. And right before the two teams got back into the locker rooms, Idrissa Touré, which is one of the players that last season Mr. Luca D'Angelo would have wanted to have in Spezia, since he wasn't very utilized by the previous coach in Pisa, score a crucial, I think, a crucial header for the Tuscanian team. How do you say, from Pisa, basically? From the team from
for Pisa, the Tuscany team.
The Tuscany team. Thank you, Jake. And that, I think, reopened the game, because if the first half would have ended 2-0, we would have witnessed a completely different game. But because they found a goal right before the end of it, I'm sure Filippo Inzaghi really pumped them up. The coach really pumped them up before coming back. And in the second half, we saw a Pisa that really dominated the field, supported by the fans. And I must say, as much as I don't like to admit these things, that I'm happy that the game ended, because you could tell that Pisa was playing to win, and by the end, Spezia was just holding on to that result, not to lose, since they were leading by 2 goals. So it was a positive start of the championship, because if you would have asked me, if you would have told me we're going to start with a draw in Pisa, I would have been happy. But to throw away a double lead, just like we did in Salernitana, is not the best signal. So it is what it is, and now we'll face Frosinone in the first game in Alberto Pico this season, and we'll shortly talk about that. Please go ahead, Jake.
Yeah. Well, kind of going back to that Pisa game, it's always hard giving up a goal right before halftime.
Yeah.
It's like I don't. It's like I still kind of think of this. I heard it somewhere. It's like, what's like the worst time to give up a goal? Is it before halftime, or is it right after halftime? Because if you give it before halftime, then okay, you could kind of go in, kind of regroup, and kind of game plan on what to do. But if you give up a goal right after halftime, it kind of messes up the game plan, and kind of just you have to change it like immediately after going into the break. So it's very interesting, but like you said, a point in Pisa in the derby isn't necessarily a bad result. Yes, there was a 2-goal,
Absolutely.
but it's like we said, it's very early in the season, and
Right.
anything could really happen now. And I think the performance is really what you want to see in this game. Like Spezia was playing, if it gives you more confidence for this upcoming season, and compared to
I would say it's a better Spezia than we saw last season, even under the guide of Luca D'Angelo. But it is frustrating to get to give up a 2 goals lead in both official games, both in Coppa Italia and in the championship. But testa alla prossima. We gotta think. We gotta have our head on the next game and move on. So I am sure that you have at hand the predictions that we made during the previous episode of our Speaking Serie B, in light of round one. So let's check out, let's compare what we speculated and what is the result, how many we got right.
Okay, so
Right.
Brescia Palermo, the first match of the season, really. It was on Friday. Elia, you said it was a Palermo win, and I said it was a draw. It was going to be a draw, but both of them incorrect because Brescia did win that game 1-0, thanks to a goal from ex-Cittadella player Davide Adorni, very late in the game to give Brescia the victory. So
Okay, sorry,
0
give me just
0
one
for 1.
second because I'm trying to show the results, but they're not in the order we're commenting them. So let me see.
There
Okay,
we go.
Brescia Palermo, I got it right here. Perfect. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yes. So, Elia, you said it was a Palermo victory. I said it was going to be a draw. Both of those did not happen because Brescia did
Yes.
win that. So, a great
We
start.
did great.
Yes. Sutiro Moldena. I put it was going to be a draw. Elia, you said it was going to be a Modena victory, and once again, that did not happen. It was very
We are
interesting.
great.
Very interesting that game because I think there was a lot of drama towards the end. Modena actually got a
Hmm.
late equalizer to make it 2-2, but the referee called it back for a VAR call, and it was
Nice.
very small, maybe like a, a toenail of an offside call
I see.
for the Modena. So I was very close to that, but Sutiro getting the win in Bolzano.
So strong
Next game.
start by Brescia, who beat Palermo, that I predicted that he was one of the teams that is going to really dominate the championship this year, and instead he started with a loss. And Südtirol in their home stadium, 2-1. And I said that this year they're going to get relegated. So that's great. Perfect. Good start for my predictions.
Yeah, so moving along, Salernitana Cittadella. I
Mhm.
put it was a Salernitana victory. Well, there you go. I got one correct. And
Right.
Elia, you said it was going to be a draw. So
Okay.
2-1 for
So you got
Salernitana.
one. Perfect.
Yes, yes, I got one.
We should
Pisa
score
Spez.
these things. Let's keep track of these that you got one so far, and we move on that way. What do you think?
Perfect. Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
I'm winning currently 1-0
Yeah,
because I got
right. 1-0.
perfect. All right, so I'll make a tally here. Okay, so Pisa Spezia. It ended 2-2. I put it was going to be a Pisa victory. Elia, you said it was going to be a draw. So well done, Elia. 1-1.
How about that?
Perfect. Okay, so Bari Juve Stabia. This was a kind of a surprise result. I did not expect Juve
Indeed.
Stabia to really come out. It was really a 3-0 game, but Bari got that late consolation goal to make it 3-1. But still,
So
Juve
Bari's
Stabia was
still struggling like he
uh,
did in the end of the last
seems like
season.
it. I mean, I can't really say much because I didn't watch the game, obviously. But
Right.
when you lose 3-1 at home, it's not great start for Bari there, but pretty
Absolutely, I
impressive
agree.
for Juve Stabia. But anyway, we both said it was going to be a Bari victory, so we do not get any points for that game.
Right.
So
Do you want to
yeah,
check the
moving.
stats of this game
Sure,
just to see who scored?
it was a
I
pretty.
thought maybe there was a player that scored more than once, but there are three different players: Marco Bellic, Francesco Folino, Gabriele Artistico. Okay, so
And
yeah,
Giacomo Ricci with
definitely a
the late
strong victory right there.
goal. Yeah,
Say it
it's
again.
very. Oh, just Ricci with the late goal for Bari, just for the 3-1. But at the end, it didn't really matter. But very
Right.
interesting this game. I kind of wish I could rewatch it.
All right.
All
So
right,
let's move on to the next game, which was
Catanzaro
Catanzaro Sassuolo.
Sassuolo. It ended
Mhm.
1-1. Elia, you said it was going to be a Sassuolo victory. I said it was going to be a Catanzaro victory. So once again, we are both wrong on that one. Very interesting. So this
Nice.
game actually, it was, Sassuolo actually missed the late penalty. Probably, I think it was the last kick of the game. Loriente skying his penalty with a chance to win it for Sassuolo, but that did not happen. So Elia, you were one
They,
kick away from getting that prediction
they
correct.
just wanted to prove me wrong. I wanted to say.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I guess it's a good start for Catanzaro given how many players they've lost. A lot of people saying they're going to struggle this year, but getting the point against a
Right.
good Sassuolo team, I think, is a good result.
Right. Yeah. I'm among those that think that Catanzaro is going to struggle this season. So, yeah.
So we got Cesena against Cardarese, the two promoted teams from Serie C
Right.
last season. We both said it was going to be a Cesena victory, so we both get 1 point for that. You're still tied
Great.
on
S-
2 points to
Watch
2
out for
points.
Cesena because it might be this. It might be the surprise of the season.
Yeah, that's
We were
that's
just
what a lot
talking
of
about
people are
it in
saying.
the previous live. Sorry, we were just talking about it in the previous live that just ended like 20 minutes ago for the pre-game of Spezia Frosinone, and the protagonist Roberto Monforte was saying that Cesena, according to him, is one of those teams that could actually um, outperform. Is that how you say? Outperform the predictions and the expectations.
Yeah, like overperforming their expectation.
Overperform. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's what
We'll see.
I think too. I think they got a good squad there, and they got Magnani, obviously, who did great things at Bari. So yeah, just sent off to a good start.
Yeah, Antonucci, they got Bastoni. We mentioned that. I didn't. I did not foresee. I didn't think. I'm not among those people that thought that Cesena could really do something this season, and it's very early to say. But the more I talk about, the more I speculate through conversations about Serie B, and the more Cesena's name comes up. So there must be something. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I kind of agree with you. I don't know like if they'll do that good of a season like Catanzaro last season, but I think they'll definitely be in the race for playoffs. But I think their fans are definitely more focused on the Salvezza first, and
Yeah,
then
of course,
go.
everything goes
Yeah,
through that. Here's my mom. Hey, mom.
but
Please go ahead. Let's move on with the next game. Was
it
Reggiana
was
Mantova.
Reggiana Mantova. Mantova getting
Ciao,
a late
mamma.
goal. They're actually down 2-0 and coming back to draw 2-2 with Reggiana. Good point for Mantova. But
Hmm.
I did say it was going to be a draw, and Elia, you said it was going to be a Reggiana victory. So that's
Ah,
1 point more for
you got that
me.
one. Good job, Jay. Good job.
Last two games here, we got Frosinone Sampdoria. This seemed like a pretty good game. Both teams had the lead, but ended up being 2-2. Coda scored again. I think that's like, I saw something like his ninth straight season scoring in Serie B.
Let's check it.
I saw like something. Coda did score. And
Mhm.
Ambrosino, another ex Cittadella player, getting on the score sheet
Huh.
for Frosinone. But I once again said this was going to be a draw, and Elia, you said it was a Sampdoria victory. So I think it's 4-2 in favor of me.
Good job. Awesome. Awesome.
This is
Yeah, I remember that I gave a lot of twos, like a lot of victories to the away team, right?
yeah, that's right. And wrapping up the last game, Cosenza Cremonese. Cosenza coming out victorious 1-0. We both said it was going to be a Cremonese victory, so
Right.
both
Yeah.
do not get any points for that. And therefore I lead 4 right. Elia, you get 2 right for this first
All
round.
right. Good job. Good job. Good job. Yes, I
I
think
will.
that
Mhm.
as we said earlier, the biggest surprise is Juve Stabia winning in Bari, and then I would say Cosenza, although they were playing uh, at home in their own stadium with Cremonese, because I thought Cremonese was going to be among the favorites as well this season. So this
Yeah.
is Serie B, guys. You never know what's going to happen. Please go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. That's. I kind of agree with you. Cosenza beating Cremonese. I think that's a little bit of a surprise result. But yeah, I definitely think Juve Stabia defeating Bari 3-1 because I think everyone was saying, including I think us, whereas Juve Stadio was going to be kind of struggling. Bari was going to be much improved from last season, but to go on the road in a tough environment like the San Nicola
Right.
in Bari, to get really technically it was a 3-0 victory, disregarding
Mhm.
that last goal. I think that's
Yeah.
a fantastic result. So props
Very
to Juve Stadio.
convincing. Yeah, it's a statement, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So, who knows? Maybe they'll be the surprise of the season and not
Yeah,
Cesena. So,
absolutely. We shall see. And to see what's going to happen in the next round, let's start with the prediction of the upcoming round.
all right, and I should probably write this down once again.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Yeah, if you want
Okay,
to, I
so
can do it, but I need to get ready
oh
for it.
yeah, I'll do it once again. Just kind of doing the uno x due thing.
Yeah,
That we
perfect, perfect, perfect. I hope
okay.
it's visible. So here in front of us, Serie B matches, match day 2, the second round out of 38. And we start with Modena Bari. And actually, do you want to go to see maybe no, let's do these and then we can check out the la
Standings.
classifica. How do you call
Yeah,
the
standings.
standing? Right. Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
So we'll do the standings as we conclude today's live.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so Modena against Bari. This was on. This is this Friday, the first match of the match day. I'm gonna go for a draw in this. I think both teams would be selling for a draw. I'll say 1-1. So
All right,
X.
Modena, we said X, indeed, yes. So Modena lost in Bolzano with Suttirol. Bari lost at home with Juve Stabia 3-1. So Bari cannot lose again, theoretically, unless they want to start really badly this championship. And Modena should not mess up the first home game. Both teams are not starting in the best condition. Modena probably is in a slightly better condition since they only lost 2-1 to Suttirol, which is a decent game. It's a decent team. I don't know. I'm gonna say one just because I don't want to say X like you said,
Mhm.
so that we can disagree on this. Modena Bari one.
Okay, Modena with the victory.
Yes.
Perfect. So
Then I'll predict first the next one, and then we'll
perfect.
alternate. All right.
Great.
Suttirol Salernitana. So the Suttirol to play in Bolzano again, and Suttirol Salernitana. Salernitana just doesn't give up. Suttirol won. Salernitana might be a better team that we gave them credit for. I always said in my predictions that this year they're gonna struggle like Spezia did last year. Although Spezia did start with a Suttirol draw last season. Suttirol Salernitana. X.
X. Okay.
Yes.
A draw. I'm gonna say a Sutiro victory.
All right.
Uh, I think going up to Bolzano, it's a long trip for Salernitana, the team going up all the way north. I think Südtirol is in a good spot right now. I think they're going to be fresh off that victory against Modena and,
Mhm.
kind of still going on that adrenaline. I think it's going to be 2 for 2 for them. So I'm going to go, I'm confident, Südtirol victory. I'll say,
All right.
I'll say a 2-0. I'll say 2-0.
All right. So let's remember that Modena Bari will play Friday, as you see here, August 23rd at 8:30 p.m. And Suttirol Salernitana is the first game of Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And then the other games on Saturday will be played at 8:30. So let's move on with the next one. And it's your game to predict, and it's your game, like your team. So Brescia Cittadella.
Oh boy. Yeah, and Google still hasn't updated. Google still hasn't updated the old logo from Cittadella. They're still using that old logo.
Huh.
So it's very interesting there. But up until last
All right. We
season,
have it right down here.
up until last season, Brescia struggled against Cittadella. Um,
Hmm.
we were the how do you say, like, in Italy, it's like the the pista, like the taboo, like the
La bestia
team.
nera, la bestia nera.
Yeah, that, yeah.
The big
Yeah,
beast. Yeah, I don't know why we call it that way. La bestia negra, I think so. I don't know.
yeah, the Brescia had not won against Cittadella, and I think it was, like, 11 games until they beat Cittadella,
Wow.
last winter. So, I think maybe that's kind of gone now, and I
Mhm.
think Brescia I don't know why, like, I'm always, pessimistic about these predictions when it comes to Cittadella, so I'm just gonna say another Brescia victory, so I'll say 3-1, Brescia victory.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brescia comes always from the victory with Palermo in Brescia, and they're gonna play in their stadium at home this game as well. Cittadella just lost, we said, in the last minutes with Salernitana, so I hope they're not gonna lose again. But they do come from a particular season last season because they started really strong, and then you had the highest number, I guess, of consecutive losses. So it's really
Mhm.
unpredictable to predict Cittadella's performance. Am I right?
Yeah, they've only in the year of 2024, they only have 2 competitive victories. One coming in
Wow.
January, one coming in, April. So,
Okay.
it's not been a year it's not been a fun year for Cittadella.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jake. So Brescia Cittadella, I'm gonna say X because I don't want Brescia to gain too much of a lead with two consecutive wins, and I hope to Cittadella to score at least a point.
That's fair. I would take that.
All right.
Going on to
And then we move
Sassuolo
on to the
Cesena.
next one. Yeah. Sassuolo Cesena. So we have a relegated team as Sassuolo from the Major League and a new promoted team, which potentially could be one of the surprises of this new season. Sassuolo Cesena. One.
One,
Yes, I do hope
Sassuolo.
Sassuolo wins against Cesena. Yeah, Sassuolo Cesena 1.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Sassuolo don't want to lose because then they would only have 1 point after 2 games when everyone's been talking about them going straight back up to Serie A. But Jasena's looking like a dangerous team. I'm gonna say a draw X for this. I think
All right.
probably maybe 1-1. I'd say.
All right.
Okay.
Cremonese Carrarese, always Saturday at 30 p.m.
Cremonese, Carrarese. I'll say a Cremonese victory. I think
I
if they
agree.
don't
Without even thinking about it, Cremonese Carrarese 1 as well. Sorry, I
if
interrupted you,
if
but I agree
Cremonese
on this
don't
one
win this,
strongly.
I think they have they're kind of in a hole because this is 2 games against Cosenza and Carrarese where they expect to win. And if they don't
Mhm.
win, I think that's early problems for them. So I'll say
Yeah,
Cremonese
I agree.
victory. They should win that game.
Yeah, I would say so also because, as I said, my prediction might be wrong, of course, as they prove to be so far. But Cremonese, I think, is going to be among the protagonists of this championship again. Carrarese is just a newly promoted team. So, yeah, Cremonese Carrarese won strongly, and then we'll see what happens. On to the next, which is Spezia Frosinone. Oh, ma! This is a tough one. Frosinone, newly relegated team, we're just done with the live that introduced us to this game, the first game of Spezia in Alberto Pico this season. I do hope for a win. I want to predict a win. I don't believe in luck. I'm not too. How do they say? That
Um, that's superstitious.
Yeah, I'm not superstitious. I'm not superstitious. I'm just hope. I want to, and we do have a chance to win. I don't know if we're going to win, but if I have to predict something, I want to predict a win for Spezia. There will definitely be a good push from the supporters. We'll all be there. I'll be there. We'll have the three lives: the pre-game, the live between the first and the second half, and the post-game. And probably I'm going to be guest on the Teleliguria Sud show after the game. So I hope I can I can comment. I can enjoy a good performance and a good result. So Spezia Frosinone won.
Okay, Spezia. I think this is, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is the first meeting between Spezia and Frosinone since Spezia were promoted to Serie A for the first time. Am I right?
It is. We lost 1-0, and it was today, the day that it happened. It was the 20th of August, and we
Oh,
lost
really?
1-0. Yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
We lost
So
1-0, and we made history anyway.
four,
Yeah,
4 years ago, exactly, huh?
right,
Yeah.
right.
Wow. That's completely coincidental that we're
Absolutely.
talking
Yeah.
about this. But yeah, I'm sure that was probably the best loss you've ever had, because even
Right.
though Spezia did lose that game, they still were promoted for
Indeed.
that. So I'm sure that was probably the best loss in the 90 minutes you've ever experienced.
Absolutely. You see,
Yeah,
we lost
going.
1-0, everybody shouting. There was Vincenzo Italiano that entered the field. Crazy. Yeah, it was awesome.
Were you there
Yeah.
for that game? I mean, it was this was
No,
during the
no.
middle
I
of the
was
pandemic.
watching it. Yeah, I was watching it. But well, although there was the pandemic, everybody was getting together on the street. They were watching it outside. You can't stop passion of that kind, especially in Spezia, I would say, without, I'm sure there are, awesome places that are very close to their team. And no, I was in Florida, and my wife was watching the game, and I refused to watch most of it. So it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, and it did happen. So they proved me wrong. Yes. So
Uh, that's one of those moments where, like, you can't watch. It's like it's so nerve-wracking, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So, but
Anyhow, so what's
anyway,
your prediction for this game?
my prediction, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a draw, so X. I think it's,
All right.
2 teams. I think it's 0-0. It's gonna be a dull kind of game where both teams aren't gonna do much. 0-0, yuck. It's gonna be a I'm sorry, you have
Typical
to
Italian
witness.
game. Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah, it
maybe
could
I'm
could
wrong.
be.
It's gonna be a 4-4 crazy thriller game, but X. I'll say X. Draw.
Right. No, well, so far we did what? 3-3 in Salerno with Salernitana for the Coppa Italia, and then 2-2 in Pisa.
Yeah,
So far 5 goals, 10 goals in 2 games.
maybe,
It has
but
been
maybe
entertaining, but
maybe
yeah.
Mr. D'Angelo will say, "All right, we gotta stop conceding." So he's gonna play more conservative, and it's gonna
Right.
be
Could be.
New York. Who knows? We'll see.
I would take the draw because Frosinone is newly relegated, although I would like to start with a win after the most recent draw in Pisa. Moving on to the next game, Sampdoria Reggiana. Your
Ooh,
call first.
I'll say Sampdoria victory. I think first league game at the Marassi. I think they'll win that game. Probably
All right.
pretty comfortably, 2-0.
Okay. Wow. I agree with you. I think Sampdoria is going to win because it's the first home game. The draw with Frosinone 2-2 in Frosinone. Um, Reggiana, I don't sympathize too much for Reggiana. So should they lose, I'm not going to lose my sleep over it. And they come from a 2-2 with Mantova. As you explained, Mantova came back onto them, right? So maybe they're also, I don't know. Yeah, Sampdoria is going to win. So Sampdoria Reggiana 1. I agree with you. Next is always on Saturday, August 24th at 8:30 p.m. Pisa Palermo. Pisa
Big game.
Palermo, Pisa plays, yeah, big game indeed, because Pisa, I think that, 10 millions they invested this year. They got Filippo Inzaghi on the bench. I think they have serious intentions of at least achieving the playoffs. They really proved to be a tough team to beat because they play until the end. They really wanted to win with us in Pisa. And Palermo comes from a loss that we commented earlier in Brescia. So Palermo though can't lose again because I'm gonna say X. Pisa Palermo X again. Pisa is gonna
Okay.
draw again.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think Palermo losing 2 games in a row. That's not. They would not be happy there, and but they're playing a good Pisa team in Pisa. I think I agree with you. I'm gonna say an X. I'm gonna say another draw in this game. I think
All right.
that's probably 1-1. I think it'll be a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
game. Both.
logically it makes sense. Then anything can happen. So maybe Pisa will dominate 3-0, pushed by their fans. I don't know, but I would say that an X is a reasonable result.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, then we have Catanzaro Juve Stabia. Juve Stabia that won 3-1 with Bari in Bari, and this is the first game of the two that are going to be played on Sunday, August 25th. Both of them at 8:30 p.m. It's your turn to start.
Okay, Catanzaro Juve Stabia. This my opinions kind of changed for Juve Stabia now after that win against Bari. Um,
Indeed.
you know, I'll say I'm gonna do another draw. I'm gonna say X, just because I think Catanzaro showed in that game that they are probably maybe a little better than we thought they were going to be against Sassuolo, even though it is the first game. So really, still anything could really happen in this match, but I'll
Right.
say a draw.
Okay, so Catanzaro Juve Stabia X for you. I'm gonna say Catanzaro Juve Stabia 1, just because I sort of sympathize for Catanzaro. I had a nice conversation last season for both games with journalists from Catanzaro, and I mean Juve Stabia is a newly promoted team, so maybe they'll put them in their place. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. So Catanzaro Juve Stabia 1.
Okay.
And then moving on to the last game of the second round of Serie B for the season 24-25, Mantova Cosenza. And well, Cosenza won with Cremonese. So logically, how can they not win with Mantova? Although Mantova drew 2-2 with Reggiana. So I think I only predicted once and X's so far. So I'm going to say Mantova Cosenza 2.
2. Okay. Well, I was kind of thinking the same. Like I've been only predicting the home team where it draws in this game, so I'll say Cosenza again. They started last season hot, and I think they'll do this season once again on a good streak. I think they've been in this league long enough to know like what to do. So I'll say
Indeed. Yeah.
I'll say probably 1-0 away from home victory for Cosenza.
All right. So we agree on this one. Perfect. So before commenting the table, basically, no? How did you call it again?
Standings, or yeah, you could say the table.
Okay. The standings together. I would like to take the opportunity to mention, to let people know where they can find our content. I can start, or you can start, Jake,
Oh yeah,
as I am
yeah. You
keeping
could
the
follow
stands.
𝐏𝐫𝐞 USA on Instagram and Twitter or X at 𝐏𝐫𝐞 USA, and our website at 𝐏𝐫𝐞usa.com for post-match articles, news articles, conference for Guarini and his words prior to the match, all on 𝐏𝐫𝐞usa.com, as well as the weekly podcasts, 𝐏𝐫𝐞 USA Show. That's you could find that on our YouTube channel. You could find it on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find that. So, yeah, that's where you could find us. So go check it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake. And as far as I'm concerned, you can find our content on the YouTube channel called Elia, the Italian guy, just like it appears now right here. Elia, the Italian guy, we are not only talking about soccer, but we talk a lot about soccer. And we're present on Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook with a private profile. But you're more than welcome to reach out to me. All the links to our various channels are present in the description of this live, which will remain as a video. So we do encourage you to participate actively to our lives, to comment through the chat, and guide us with our predictions, and comment our prediction and let us know what you think about our guesswork, basically. So showing you now the standings of after the first round of the season, we see Juve Stabia leading together with Cesena. So the two of the newly promoted team at the top of the table. This doesn't say much just yet, but it's something that it's more than fair to show they deserve this position. So let's give them all the credit.
Yeah.
So the first spot with 3 points is Juve Stabia, Cesena, Salernitana, Südtirol, Brescia, e Cosenza, all with 1 win. Do you have anything to comment about these teams, Jake?
No, I mean it's as of right now, after the first match day, you can't really tell much from the standings. It just kind of shows you how they did on the first match, But it is interesting to see
Right.
that Cremonese, Palermo, and Bari, the teams that we kind of expected to do really well this season, are all in the relegation zone, direct
Right. We'll
relegation
get to
zone.
that. Right.
But and yeah, Juve Stabia, Cesena, the two promoted teams in the top two. So it's kind of just fun to look at that as of now, because in a few weeks' time it's going to drastically change. So it's
Oh, yeah,
just
we
fun.
saw the positions changed until the very last day, and positions, crucial positions for the playoffs or for the play out, and the teams were only a handful of points away from each other, a couple of points. So seriously, Serie B is really unpredictable, and that's why one of the reasons why it's so awesome. So all the teams that drew the first round of the game are Frosinone, Mantova, Pisa, Reggiana, Sampdoria, Spezia, Catanzaro, and Sassuolo. And between the 15th and the 20th place, sorry, we'll see, as Jake said earlier, Carrarese, Cittadella, Modena, Cremonese, Palermo, and Bari. So this is it after the first round, and we'll see what happens next. We did share with you our thoughts, and then we'll be here next week to check with you how we did, and hopefully see what you think about round 3. Jake, if there is anything you would like to add, otherwise I would wrap up today's episode. And yeah.
Nope. Like we said earlier, with the where you could find us on Instagram, Twitter, and the website. Once again, that's at 𝐏𝐫𝐞-𝐑𝐨𝐻, 𝐏𝐫𝐶USA.com. Yeah, but please feel free to reach out if you have any feedback or suggestions for this show that we're doing. And yeah, we'll see you next week, wrapping up match day 2 in Serie B. It's great to be back. It's great to have Serie B back, because we missed
Indeed.
it during the summer.
I would say that potentially we are planning to stick to Tuesday night at this time, just to give you as a point of reference. But stay tuned, as Jake was suggesting, following us on Instagram and all the other social media, so that we can let you know exactly when we're going to be live. And of course, you'll find our content even once we're no longer live. But should you want to interact directly with us, the best way is to participate to these programs. So guys, thank you very much for following us, and we'll see you on the next one.